Hi everyone, and I know I never come to you at this time of the week, but I was ready to make a video for my downline and I thought, why not make it for you too? So my name is Lillian with Stamper's Niche and I'm coming to you from Alberta, Canada, where the temperature's getting a little warmer and more comfortable and we're all happy, but there's still lots of good crafting time happening. So last night my team gathered either in person or in Zoom, or the ones that were able to, and part of the meeting always involves some crafting, and we like to explore techniques, either new ones or revisiting ones that we might have forgotten, and if there's new materials, even playing with some new materials. And one of the cards that we made did both. So let's go down to my desktop and see what I'm talking about. All right, whoops, that button didn't work quite as well as it should have there. So I didn't even put my desk sheet up there saying who I am. So hopefully you know, let me just grab that. It truly is a spur of the moment time. So here's my name and here is my website, and if you're shopping with me, this is the hostess code for January, so you could enter that and get a little bit of credit and maybe a surprise in the mail from me. I this month have a great kit I'm mailing out, so do take advantage of that. Reach out to me if you have some questions. So one of the suites that we were exploring during our meeting last night was the Perennial Lavender. So it's on page 22 and page 23 of the mini catalog. So there are gorgeous samples here. And if you notice, it is like a mega suite, or a supersized, if you think of some of our fast food places. There are two bundles here. Now you don't have to get both bundles, of course, but there are two bundles. There's this gorgeous, gorgeous paper, some great embellishments, and these paper butterflies. So then if you turn over the page, you see even more samples and you see the bundles close up. So that is what we're working with in this. So one of the bundles is called Perennial Postage. So you can see the name there. And the neat thing about these dies is they will work with so many different things. They're just basically rectangles that have that postage edge to it. This here embosses. It makes a wonderful little embossing design on your paper. It doesn't do any cutting. And these make some holes that you can thread things through. So lots of potential there with everything. And then these are the words. So one of our techniques that we did involved these words, and I'll be sharing that with you in a minute. The other part of the mega suite is called the Painted Lavender stamps, and there are no words in this one, so you can really see how these two work well together, or you can bring in words from other stamp sets that you have. But some gorgeous images here, and these are the dies right here, and here's my little get acquainted sheet, so you can see some coordinate with the stamps and some stand alone. All right, so we let's just have a look-see at what we did. All right, so I had two samples in my stash. One was this one here, and I really liked the layering here and the embossing, and that was what I liked from this. And then I had this sample, and both of these are cased from other people. This one is cased from Katie Edwards. This is a slimline card, so you can see that it's much taller than this one. She used the gorgeous paper in the background and did this sprig and brought in the butterfly. So I looked at these two and sort of took the items from both to make the card that we made last night, and here it is here. Pardon me. So you can see where we're heading here. And on the inside, it looks like that. So let me just show you how we did that. So there we go. I'm going to bring in a card kit here. So everything is pretty much in the envelope. And so we've got the card base that is just a half a sheet of thick basic white cardstock. And it's scored in half. So it is 5.5 by 8.5 scored in half. And we're going to burnish that fold as always with our bone folder. And we'll set that aside. And then we also have two pieces. This one here, usually I have the measurements written out for you. This one is 3.5 by 4 3/4, and then this layer is 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. So just 1/8 of an inch bigger on each side. So what I did is I ran this through the Simply Sophisticated embossing folder. So this is one of the celebration items. You can see it comes with a stamp set. When you spend $120 or more, you can earn this for free. So on this card here, I use the embossed side. So on this card, I used the debossed side, so where it's indented in. So let's just layer these two together and do the same thing here. So I did that ahead of time off camera because I was getting ready for my my downline. And we're just going to put them together with the equal border all the way around as nearly as we can do that. And usually if you're equal here, here, and here, everything else takes care of itself. Now, because the paper curled a bit when I embossed, it's curling a bit here, so I'm just going to put something on top of it. I'm going to grab a block, a clear block, a punch would work, and I'm just going to do that and hold it down so that it sets like that. Now we're going to look at how to stamp this here. Pardon me, I don't know what's happening with my voice today. So again, this little narrow piece of white is 1 1/4 inches wide and 4 1/8 inches long. So 1 1/4 by 4 1/8, and then this one is just 1/8 inch bigger. So this is 1 3/8 by 4 1/4. And so they're going to layer with just that narrow little border. Now, if you don't like working with the narrow borders, you can adjust it. So let's bring in, I chose to use the purples again, and I'm going to use Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape for the flower, and I'm going to use Pretty Peacock for the stem. So let's bring in the Highland Heather first and put it there. And there are two floral stamps in this set. One is a little fuller one here, and one is narrower, and I'm going to layer them. So I want the fuller one to be in Highland Heather. Now, if I didn't have Highland Heather, I could always stamp it off and make it lighter, and that's always another option. So I'm going to center this towards the top, press down and give it a minute for the ink to transfer. And I always like to run my finger over where the stamp is so it's getting the impression. So just like that, we've got that. Now with the narrower one, I'm going to close up the Highland Heather, just about put the ink in there, and open up the Gorgeous Grape. And ink that up. Now I don't know if you can see, but there's almost like a stem going down the middle. And I'm just going to try to get those stems in roughly the same place, but I don't really sweat it too much. my ladies last night were saying, how do you line it up? I said, well, you just kind of line it up and maybe close your eyes. But then you've got the two tones there. If you wanted them more distinct, I would stamp off the bottom one more time. And then I'm going to bring in my pretty peacock and do the stem. And I chose these colors right from the designer paper. So you could easily switch these out. This would look great in Berry Burst with bubble bath. It would look great in some blues. Maybe you could even share what color combination you might use. So what color would you make your flowers? Would you make them blue, pink, stick with the purple, or whatever? I've got just a bit of ink there. I'm going to wipe it off. So now we've got the flower done, and I'm going to glue it down onto here. So what colors would you make yours? So I know this is lavender, but it also sort of reminds me of hollyhocks. That I'm not really good with my flowers, but you know, we can take an artistic license and make them any color we want, right? So there we go. We have got this just like that. All right, so we can put that to the side. And what we're going to do now are the words. Now you might say, I don't see you're simply in the stamp set. No, you don't. It says you're simply marvelous. And what I have done is the ladies and I, my team and I, experimented with just using a portion of the words, so the you're simply, and then we actually put the marvelous on the inside. So out of one word stamp, we got the outside greeting and the inside greeting all out of one card. So let me show you how I did that. What I did is I brought in a piece of scrap paper and I brought in my marker. Now it's important that you're using your marker and not your blends. Your blends are permanent. You want something that's water soluble. If you don't have a marker, you could use a Post-it note and mask off the rest and use your ink pad. But I am actually going to use my marker, and I just better close this ink pad before I put something in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the brush end of my marker. Now remember, your markers have these stripes at each end to help you realize which end you can just really quickly notice which end is the brush and which is the fine tip. And we're going to use the edge of not the point, but the edge of the brush and just color in the words we want. So I am just catching you're simply like that. Put the lid on my pen, and now I'm going to huff on it like that. And I've got you're simply. Then I would bring in my die. Where did I put it? And I would put it like that and run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and end up with this shape right here. Like that. Gail, you love the image on the inside of the card. Thank you. I'm going to show you how I did that, but I was really pleased with that too. So that was kind of really neat. And actually some of my team members put it on their envelope as well. So we're going to put these two together so they're the same size. So I'm just going to offset them a little bit so we have a bit of the purple edge. And why I did that was it just made the words pop a little more in my books. So as you can see, we're actually doing different parts of the card, and then we're going to put it all together. So you can make the edge as big or as little as you want, but there we go. We've got it like that. So we've got those parts. Now we're going to bring in the butterfly. Now let me just show you where I'm getting the butterfly from. The butterfly is from that page that I showed you from the suite, and it's called Paper Butterfly Accents. You get 40 butterflies. So you get 5 to a sheet. And so last night we used all all 5 of the butterfly designs. So they all work for this card. So for today's card, on this one here, this one was flying in from this way. For today's card, we're going to use this. So we're going to use that, and we're going to bring in a blending brush, and we're going to bring in Gorgeous Grape. So I'm using the darker purple ink again. I found that it just worked faster. I started trying with a Highland Heather, and I just found that I really quite liked it with the darker ink. So now let's go to the inside of the card. And the reason I'm doing this before I fasten everything to the front is if I muck up, then I can always fold the card backwards and cover this over, right? So I'm going to, because 2 of the techniques are going to involve the inside of the card, I am going to do the inside right now. Let's make sure that's in camera. So put the butterfly where you want it. You might want it gently behind your words. I'm going to put mine just down in the corner. And normally I would tape everything down, but it's a bit difficult to do. I could do that right here. Maybe I'll give that a try. But I'm just going to use my fingers. So the reason why I'm using my fingers and not taping it down is I don't want any edges. So let's ink up our blending brush, and I'm going to tap here a little bit, and I'm going to hang on to the end because I want to start out very lightly, and then I will add, and I'm starting in the center. I can always add more, but I can't take it off because I want the center darkest, and then work my way out. And I'm even going to go, whoops, I caught a little edge there. Going to work so that it even goes out a little bit more, right off the paper onto my wonderful glass mat. Still holding things in place. I'm going to take a little peek and look at how that looks. Isn't that neat? So I really love that. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to have to put a little embellishment there. Now, if I wanted this darker, I could just add it a bit more. I didn't want it any darker for the inside of the card, but for the outside, and I'm going to just gradually make it more of an ombre effect there. So just like that, we have now colored our butterfly. Remember, these butterflies are 2-sided. So if you have one that you could always work on the other side right there. So we've got that piece done. We've got this done. Now, how about the words for the inside? So just like I was saying, we need to get everything done ahead of time. I'm going to bring in my Simply Chamois and clean this stamp. Now, when you're cleaning a stamp with the Simply Chamois, it often works best to press down and up, where with the Stampin' Scrub, you kind of twist. This works better down and up. Now, I want to test it because I want to make sure there's no residue, and there doesn't appear to be, so that's good. And so for the inside, I want the word marvelous. So let's take our marker again and color the word marvelous. Just brush over it to make sure I catch all of it without touching the other words. There, that looks simply marvelous, right? And I'm going to blow or huff on it. Do a little heavy breathing. There we go. And down and up. And there we go. We have got the word marvelous on the inside. And so now I'm happy with the inside. I know I can easily cover up that little mark there. So let's put the outside together. So we have these 2 layers here. I'm going to put them on dimensionals. That, of course, is, actually, I'm going to close this up. That is totally optional, but I love the look of dimensionals, so the quick way to add interest to a card. I'm going to bring my little tray in to get the backings. How many of you have this set or have it on your wish list? Any of this suite? Are any of you starting to play with it, or are you thinking about it? Why don't you let me know in the comments? And if you have been playing with it, I'd love to see what you're making. Let's see, if I got that pretty straight. It's not bad. So for this piece here, I wanted to bring in a little bit more of the pretty peacock, because we have the pretty peacock stem here. So I brought in this gorgeous ribbon, and the ladies last night were really impressed with how soft this ribbon is. It has the metallic gold and the pretty peacock, and it's just really easy to work with. So let's bring that in. Now when I'm adding ribbon behind a piece like this, for me, what I like to do is put some of my seal down, and then I can arrange my ribbon the way I want to. Okay, I'm all thumbs here. Let's see. So I'm just kind of doing that, and it's going to go behind here. Just adds a pop of color and some texture. I think I want it to go down a little bit more. So you can, whoops, play with it to your heart's content until you get it the way you want it. And that'll be good, I think. Let's just see. Yep. So now we're going to bring our dimensionals back in, and we will add dimensionals to this. Take the backings off. Like that. So we'll put it right about there, so it's off a little bit towards the left-hand side, like that. And now let's see, let's put our butterfly on next. I always like to kind of curl the edges, but these are pretty fragile, so be very gentle if you do that. And I'm not going to bend, but I'm going to just cozy that up a little bit. And what I'm going to do is bring in some glue dots, and I'm going to roll them so that they're skinny, so they're little sausages, and put some just down the center of the butterfly's body. So 2 is good, like that. And then we'll fly our butterfly around till we find, oh, I kind of like it right there, I think. Yeah, I like it right there. It looks nice there too, but I have the words planned for there. Okay, I will put it there, like that. And the words I'm going to actually put flat. We've got a fair amount of dimension going on, so I'm just going to put my words flat. I'm only going to put adhesive on this edge because the other is going to hang over onto the ribbon. So, oh yeah, that will look good right about there. And now all we have left to do is some embellishments. So what we have are the embellishments from that suite, and they are gorgeous, different shades of purples. So they're called Purple Fine Shimmer Gems, and they are so pretty. I really like them. So we can bring them in here, and I think perhaps this shade looks good with this butterfly, and I'm going to put one for the body, and then I'm just going to scatter some different. Now, if you notice, some are light, some are dark. I'm going to mix it up and just have a little variety, just like that. So there is the card. So what do you think? I love the simplicity of it. I love getting multiple use out of that butterfly. I need to grab something here. There we go. And does that give you some ideas as well? You like it, Gail? Oh, I'm glad. I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out too. So I'm so glad you like it. And my downline really liked it last night. So that's, I just wanted to share one other thing. There's an embellishment in the annual catalog that looks like this. It's called the opaque ovals. And these make wonderful butterfly bodies as well because they're kind of egg-shaped. I don't know if you can see. Let me take them out of the package for you. They, because they're egg-shaped or oval-shaped, they also work well with the butterfly bodies. So there is another option if you're thinking about that. The lavender will be back in stock. Yes, it's so exciting. I'm so glad I have mine, but if you don't, just be patient. It will come and you can have fun with it too. So there is my impromptu little video for you today. So hope that inspires you. Remember, you could switch out your stamps and do some other things if you don't have the lavender. All right, take care everybody, and bye-bye.